This is the Phil Taylor Jones Show, and yes, we are very happy to have you with us once more as we bring to you day 4 of the Democratic National Catastrophe. I'm Phil Taylor Jones, your host, and yes, let's talk about this catastrophe right now. As I looked at all of those pathetic speeches about this non-existent, wonderful person that is the nominee of the Democratic Party, I had to sit there with my puke bucket at hand and really try to keep from puking my guts out, because it was so fake. It was so in your face, as far as trying to overdo what happened in Cleveland just last week. It was said that this Donald Trump fella is the entertainment king because of his The Apprentice television show and his various pageants and what have you. He's Mr. Entertainment. Well, they showed him up and totally destroyed him on that score, because they had no less than approximately 10 or 11 big name celebs on their show, both to speak and to actually perform. So they made his convention look like so much dull hay bales on a field, because all they had was that little pitiful country band that kept playing day after day, and then they dotted it with a few down home stars blowing harmonicas and such. So on that score, they kind of blew him away. But as far as blowing him away on other scores, they really didn't, because like I said, they're just like tangled snakes in a pit. They are the embodiment of each other. I have to go back for a minute to Bernie Sanders, because if you took a shot or took a look at that shot of him after she mentioned his name, he was not the same Bernie Sanders that he was. Now, I know a lot of people don't care anymore about Bernie Sanders because they feel that he let his supporters down, and he did. But then you gotta go back and look at this nasty thing called American politics. And as I've said in other shows, I know it's politics all over the world, but I'm talking about great specificity here. I'm talking about where we are in the moment. We are in America, or what's left of it. And the politics here are very, very, not only nasty and divisive, but can be quite dangerous, not to mention deadly. And I'm looking at Bernie Sanders, and I've been around a lot of people all over the world all my life, but especially in my adult life. Being in the careers that I've been in, I have to read people. I, kind of got good at it. I looked at this guy, and I looked at a totally shattered person. Just a shell of what he used to be. At 74 years old, Grandpa Sanders could be very energetic and very vibrant about what he believed in. And I honestly, to my soul of souls, whether you agree with his philosophies or you don't, I'm just talking about a person here right now, not a politician, just a person who has this zeal, who had this zest for what he actually believed in, and that was to bring government down to a lower level to all of us, the people. I believe he, felt that. I believe to my soul that that guy was threatened. Not only shafted, but literally threatened, as if to say, hey, either you do what we tell you to do, or when you go home tonight, maybe one of your Sanders clan won't be there. These people are dangerous. They will do anything, and I do mean anything, to get what they want. And what's the reason? Money. Lots of it. Dirty money. Something went down nasty with that Sanders thing, because when they panned up there where he was, that man was shattered. He was red as a beet. He could barely crack a smile. He could barely function. Why he was there, I don't know. That may have been part of the package. Sure, you better be there to support Bitchery, to support her to the end. You better be there. It was like the man was under duress. You could see it all over his face. If there had been any right in this world, that convention shouldn't have taken place. Once they found all of that evidence exposed, all of those emails exposed, they should have said, no, we can't do this. This convention is just an in-your-face to the American people illegality, and we can't let it go on. But like I said, money, what's the saying? Money walks and that other stuff talks? Or money talks and other stuff walks. There you go. Lots of money hooked up in this thing. Sanders is out. The Bitchery Clinton is in, because by all intents and purposes, he should have been basking in the glow of the celebratory light last evening, not her. Something terrible went down with that situation. Count on it. The convention in and of itself was just too inclusive, just blatantly so. Every time they came to the podium, we're stronger together. And then they had to go labeling off the various people that they're stronger together with. You don't have to keep doing that. By the first night, we pretty much got the gist of what stronger together means in your vein of, or your philosophy. You don't have to keep going with the homosexual community, because I refuse to call it this little cutesy little acronym. And I'll get into that a little later, but the blacks and the whites and all the rest of them, inclusive of Muslims included, you know. It's just too over the top. It's just too, God, it makes me, where's my puke bucket? Exec, you're slipping. I'm going to fire you because you're supposed to have my puke bucket here.
My apologies.
I mean, I'm trying to be a little jovial about this, but really, it's a sad state of affairs for us, the American people. It's really sad. So along with the rich thing, I should be crying, as should all of you. 50 seat fillers. The place was packed. At $50. It was said in several media outlets that, what was it, Craigslist, there was an ad put in for seat fillers, $50 a day. Rather cheap of these people at the Democratic National Committee that, you know, only want to spend $50. But they must have worked because the place was packed. Crookedness. It just shows it at both conventions. As I said before, people are getting sick of this crap. So they're saying, forget it, I'm not going to go that crap. Oh, and the Bitchery Clinton's little push me, pull you phrases in vocalization. You remember that the animal on, I believe it was Dr. Doolittle. He had a same head on either end, looked like a llama, I think, and it was, they call it a push me, pull you. My mother's daughter and my daughter's mother. And women's rights are human rights, and human rights are women's rights. Oh, come on, you stupid cow. All of these little cutesy, radical, or, you know, just totally wonderful little sayings that permeated the thing. Just, oh God, it was disgusting. This stronger together is just a code word for dilute Americana with multitudes of illegal foreigners. That's all that is. They want to give them the vote. No ID required. But it was funny that yesterday at the convention, some Bernie Sanders people, I guess, climbed over the fence. And here's this two burly policemen just carrying him out. You can't come in here. You know, we've got a fence, we got a border around it. But yet, when Republicans want to talk about putting a border or a wall up around, you know, so that folks can't get into the United States that are undesirable, there's a big to-do about it. shows the hypocrisy of this party. It's ridiculous. And so together we're stronger. My brother, the exec, he came up with a very profound statement. And with his permission, I'd like to repeat it. If we're so strong together, then what the hell happened in 2001? How strong were we then with these foreigners being here after they ran planes through the Twin Towers and took them down? How strong were we then? We were strong afterward, but that wasn't together with the foreigners that took down our buildings. It was because they took down our buildings. So they need to get it untwisted. We're stronger as American citizens. We're stronger as patriots together, not with a bunch of damn foreigners in this country. Get that straight. Bitchery Clinton. Another thing that really got on my nerves is, and I said it before, but it was more than evident last evening, homosexuals on parade. I'm happy. I'm a proud gay person. I'm a proud lesbian. I'm a proud transsexual. I'm a proud this. Look, the Supreme Court already gave you your due process. It's even been relaxed throughout our society that what you do is acceptable. If you want to go, if you're a guy and you want to go and boink a guy, that's your business. If you're a girl and you want to go boink a girl, that's your business. And the government has even waved you on now. You got what you wanted. I just don't understand why it's got to be all up in everybody else's face. That's not an achievement. It's something that's natural, like going to the toilet or blowing your nose or breathing. I don't see anybody, oh, I'm a proud booger blower. I just blew out a big green juicy booger. You just blow your nose and you quietly, throw it in the trash or the toilet. You don't come out bragging about it. You go to the bathroom to defecate. Ooh, I'm a proud defecator with big turd. Some things you just don't throw up in people's face. And this is one of them. I can just imagine the fear if, everybody else came out, oh, well, I'm a proud and practicing heterosexual. And I'm glad to be with you, fellow Democrats, this evening. At what point do you, become realistic and act accordingly? Okay, we've given you your props. You can go and do whatever you want. You can go and join the army. Unlike Bitchery's husband, it's don't ask, don't tell. That's been abolished. Okay, you can openly join the armed services as a homosexual. Okay, it's accepted. You can walk down the street, not by all, but by a good bunch of the folks. You can go walking down hand in hand with your little PDAs and the public displays of affection, what have you, and not too many people will, give you the eye, look shockingly or look at you hawkishly. They just, accept it as a part of, our everyday fabric. But to just be in your face about it all the time, that would warrant people to begin not to like you. Because now it's your little acronym, your little cutesy acronym, LGBTQ, whatever the hell it is, and all of this. Heterosexuals don't go around, we're heterosexual, HTS, whatever. We just go on about our lives and do what it is we got to do. And when it comes to, as the little phrase goes, who we love, we keep that to ourselves. So, fair is fair. Now you got all the stuff that you need, just go on with it and be happy. Don't throw it up in people's face all the time. The other thing that came to mind that was totally disgusting, and not only was it disgusting to me, but it just shows you that their Sharia law is in full effect. This bastard took the stage, a Muslim bastard, and I didn't like the way he talked. He was very condescending, son of a biscuit eater. Do they eat biscuits, or does that offend them too?
Not sure.
There's no lard in it. This son of a biscuit eater. He was just very arrogant and very just oh God, he made me want to kick his butt. That's what he made me want to do. And then maybe later puke on him. But I wanted to stick my size 12 squarely up his anus. Anyway, he goes on talking about his dead soldier son. And, you know, I really didn't want to listen to him too much. So I went in the kitchen and started preparing dinner. And by the way, we had bacon-topped meatloaf. Fat bacon slathered all over the meatloaf. Pork. Anyway, so I really didn't listen to him, but I did want to come out because I heard this piece of garbage. And I looked at him, and his little pitiful wife sitting there looking like a druid. And he spoke, and he spoke, and he prattled on for a good, about maybe 10 minutes. And then he ended what he had to say. Now, he's talking about their dead son was killed in the act of duty. The mother is standing there, like I said, looking like a little pitiful druid. After he spoke, they left the stage. And she went like this. Didn't she have the right to speak about her dead son? Didn't she have something that she wished to say about the loss of her child? No, that Sharia law was in full effect. I speak. I'm the man. I have all the clout. You're nothing. You're just there at my will. And then he pointed his hand like that to say, get off the stage, that way off the stage. She didn't even get a chance to say what she felt about the loss of her son. I thought together we were stronger. And that as Americans, we all have a chance. And that women's rights are human rights, and human rights are women's rights. But this pitiful mess didn't even get to have the right to speak about her dead child. And you clamor and you chomp at the bit about these bastards still being in our country? I think not, because if it was evident, if it's ever been evident, it was very much so last night. This bastard speaking like he's the king, and she's just my peasant. And he was ordering American people around, and I won't say what I said to the TV to him on the show today, but I said, how dare you order American people? Go to Arlington Cemetery, and there you'll see there's multitudes of different people and colors and creeds and races. Go! I said, don't tell me where to go, you luciferous piece of crap. Oh, I wanted to stick my foot up his butt knee deep. Well, I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't have been offended by that. Because you know what they like to do, the goats and other animals, bastards. And I'm just talking about the normal ones, not the Islamists. Because like I've said before, even the normal ones are weird. Anyway, I was glad that bastard left the stage because, not only was I wanting to puke, but I wanted to do something else. And Lord knows it wasn't nice. Like I said, these buzzwords and catchphrases just kept being said to the point of nauseation. This is the theme of this show, Puke Fest. Words like this, together, we're together, stronger together. And the ceiling. We're gonna shatter the glass ceiling. And then the sky's the limit. And women gonna do this, and women are gonna do that. And I just got tired of hearing these buzzwords and catchphrases. Like I said, the first day of the show or the convention, after so many speakers came out utilizing them, we understood what your theme is. You don't have to keep saying it. We're not stupid people here. And then we came to the highlight of the evening. No, the low light of the evening. And that was the Bitchery Clinton's keynote address. She talked about this Donald Trump fella prattling on for about an hour and 15 or hour and 17 minutes. Well, she was no worse. She undercut him about 11 minutes or 12 minutes. She prattled on for about an hour and 5. And like him, painted with a very broad brush. She may have filled in maybe a couple of details more than he did, but her speech was just as empty and lackluster and very broadly brushed with the paintbrush. How are you going to do all of these things if it's going to be business as usual? If you're going to invite all of these foreigners into your country, most of which could be terrorists, that's going to destroy whatever it is you're trying to build up, that's just throwing good money after bad. You're not going to make it, because you're going to have to continually build up what they're tearing down. Look at Angela Merkel, one of the dumbest people I have ever seen in this many years. She now, after all that's happened between Paris and her own country, and after knowing the feeling of the population of Germany, she still is hanging on to that wild-eyed notion of letting these foreigners into the country. Still, by upwards of 1.5 million. She still wants them there. Has this woman been not only smoking the crack pipe, but sucking on it? Well, we got the same wild, frowsy-eyed cow here wanting to do the same thing. And this orange-haired chook vacillating at how he wants to maybe let them in the country. Or maybe not let them in the country. I don't know. Together, we're not stronger unless together we are American patriots that are stronger. These people that come into our country, both legally and illegally, they don't really have our nation at heart, because they want to come in as something American. Wherever they come from, they're still hanging on to that. Oh, I want to live the dream. I want to live the American dream. Well, then come over, bring your butt over, and live the American dream. I am an American now. Leave that other stuff over there where it was, because that's what you're trying to get away from. But no, they want to hang on to that too. Well, if you still want to hang on to something, then stay your butt over there with it. You don't need our dream. You still are hanging on to whatever you were dreaming over there, so hang on to it. I just don't understand how we have gotten as far as we have with these dumb politicians, especially these here of late. And if you think it's going to get any better as we go along with the ideals and the way these people are brought up, just say 35 years ago, people were born. Those people are now 35 years old. And look at all of the crap that we have put up with in this country, all of the crazy societal things, and the way people think, and the way people do things. And these people are now trying to get into the legal profession and then subsequently into politics. I cringe at what's going to happen, just say 15 to 20 short years from now. What's going to be out there and what may be wanting to get in office, especially with all of these foreigners coming over here, getting into office. Oh, my brother brought me to this country when I was 8 years old, and I worked hard, and my mother was a maid, or my mother shoveled shit in Peoria, or whatever. And now, you see standing before you, that 8-year-old, or this 6-year-old, they was coming here from wherever they come from. But now they're in office, looking after their own kind, because they're not looking out after us American-born people. Count on that. Well, let me get my little Donald Trump. You can count on that. You can count on that. It's huge. They're not looking out for us. They're looking out for their own kind. Foreigners are very clandestine. Believe me when I say that. They always stick together. They stand together. And together they get what they want. And that seems to be our birthright. Stupid Democrats were talking about that Donald Trump puts it out there that it's a we-they situation. That's not something he's putting out there. That's the way it is. That's the way it is with them. They look out for their own. Everybody seems to do it, but American people, we can't even get along with each other. White people and black people, we're all we got. And Indians, the American Indian should be the three people that together, stronger together. But, you know, the Indians, you know, ask them what they think about pale face. Shoved them off their own land, mistreated them. So don't talk to me about what the foreigners can do. The foreigners that come over here and virtually set America on his butt. And there it shall remain unless something happens, like closing the border. Because like I said, you're not going to get all of these people out of here, Mr. Trump. Because to do that, it's going to put a bigger price tag on that already existing $20 trillion. So the bad ones, yeah, get them the hell out of here and make it so they don't come back. But the ones you already got here, put them on a road to pathway to citizenship, but not some easy one like old bastard is supposed to do today to give some creep, you know, just citizenship without, you know, just at the drop of a hat. I would go with that, put the butts in concentration camps, build 3. One on the East Coast, one in the central part of the country, and one on the West Coast, and put their butts in there. Give them jobs to do to help fix our infrastructure. Find out what they're best suited to do and put their butts to work to do it. Put an ankle brace on them. And after they come home, they go to school. Coursework and methodology in American citizenship. After that is completed, then you get your citizenship, your ankle bracelet comes off, you go out into the general population. Or if you spend 5 tours of duty in any one of our selective services, then you come out, you've earned your citizenship. But only those 2 ways. And keep them here, keep them working, strengthen our economy. You don't get a chance to send any money to wherever it was you came from. That money stays in this country. We close our borders and we don't allow any more of them in. Those that are already here that are of an Islamic or Muslim contingency shall be watched and monitored like a tick on a dog, because we don't know if or when you might turn into an Islamic extremist and want to blow our butts off. It's time to tighten up on this thing. And it's time we got some adults in there to do it. People acting like kids, like this Donald Trump. I think this guy is going to implode before, you know, this is what scares the hell out of me. That Bitchery Clinton will get to be president if Jill Stein doesn't get, you know, much more traction than she already is. And she's getting traction, thank goodness. But I don't want this cow in there, Bitchery Clinton, because this other pitiful mess, he's going to implode. He's now just, you know, backing treason, wanting to reach out to Russia or whoever to, you know, do a treasonous act. You know, I was just kidding. I was just being sarcastic. Hello? You're 70 years old, pal. I know there's some gray hairs under all that orange. Orange is the new hairstyle. I know there's some gray ones under there. You know, and his kid's supposedly so smart and so astute, you know, telling him which VP to pick. Looked like you would have told your father, you know, one, to show his tax records, because it does look like you're trying to hide something, pal. And, you know, about making all these ties and furniture and what have you in foreign countries. That's coming back to bite you on the butt. And rightfully so. So I think this guy is going to implode, and if we can't get Jill Stein in there, then we're going to be stuck with a Bitchery Clinton. And wouldn't that be a travesty? You might as well just, what's that song? This is the end of the world as we know it.
Mm-hmm. You don't feel fine.
You don't feel fine, yeah. You're right. So, you know, there's a lot to be considered with watching these 2 goofballs in action. And It just makes me cringe, and that's why all the more in this wonderful democracy. Oh, we love our democracy. Why isn't Jill Stein in the third party that's here, the independent party? Why didn't they have their primaries? Why didn't they have their debates? Why did they not have their convention? Because this democracy stinks on that score, because it's too filled up with money and greed and wrongful ambition. And that's why Bernie Sanders is sitting up there in the wings looking pitiful. I guess I believe that man was threatened, because he just looked sad. Not only sad, but just totally deteriorated. And I'll just turn it over to the exec, because I'm just about finished with what I got to say. Exec, what you got?
Well, I love that thing you had about the concentration camp or the tours of duty, Phil Taylor Jones for president.
Oh.
And it's been mentioned before. We had one video a long time ago that had to do with the greediness of basketball players, the NBA lockout. If you get a chance to see that one, it was actually our highest viewed video, over 7,600 or so views, and at least 2 people were saying to have you for president.
They wouldn't want me for president. That'd be rough on rats. And they talk about them 4-legged ones around the garbage can.
Mm-hmm. On a more serious note, he was under a lot of duress. He did not want to be there. Like you said, he was as red as a beet. He looked like he was mad to be there, and he, when she was trying to mention him, kept coaxing him out, coaxing him by saying his name. Come on, Bernie Sanders. He finally cracked a little tiny smile, like the corners of his lips just went up a tiny bit, and then he stopped. He didn't like what was done to him. All of his 1 million votes being, ripped up and everything, and all the crookedness towards him. I feel bad for the poor guy, because he, like you said, he did have a lot of vigor, and now he's just forced to be there. I wouldn't have been there. I don't care. I mean, like I said, like you said, actually, probably was threatened, because otherwise I wouldn't have shown up there, But he thrown his full support towards her and messed everybody up and got all them campaign contributions. And now what is he going to do? I know he's not giving a refund to the people, and all their money's just gone, and for something that's not there anymore. But this whole thing was quite disgusting, and I think the most disgusting thing was all these Muslims and Muzzies being in there in the first place. You could see them dotted all over the entire audience. There was like maybe 1 or 2 in the Republican one, but
especially that one on the stage.
Getting to that one.
Yeah.
The way they embrace these Muslims and the way they embrace diversity, these Democrats, you think that they've actually forgiven the Muslims for 9/11.
They're the chosen ones.
And like that they're okay with all these people getting killed by letting them just be in the audience and supporting them and everything. They're in full support of these people, like they did a good thing on 9/11. Where is your hearts for American humanity, Democrats? They just totally support them and let them be on the stage and everything. Why?
I don't feel good for it. I lost one of my best friends in that Twin Tower incident.
One of your work friends, yeah.
He's my partner.
Mm-hmm.
We built airplanes together. We designed airplanes together. Randy was a very good friend. I knew his family. I was like, his kid's godfather and what have you. And it tears me apart. Whenever I sometimes think of work or look at an airplane, I think about Randy and these bastards. Oh, God, I don't know.
It's quite all right. It's ridiculous. You can't help but talk about it, and the way they just let them permeate the whole thing and let them talk, and it's like they've forgiven them and said it's okay that you killed everybody. I don't get these Democrats. They want more of them over here, knowing what they're capable of. All these many different things happening almost every week in various places in the world, And speaking of this idiot that was on stage, and the Sharia law and everything, like you said, is in full effect, because she didn't get to speak at all, like you said, and that was messed up because it's her son. Was it daughter?
It was their son. He was a captain, I think, in the army.
And she's standing looking pitiful. And then when they went off the stage, if you notice it, not only did he put her hand out to guide her, but he had his hand on her back pushing her.
Get your ass off the stage.
You know, and we want something like that. Stupid old bastard wants Sharia law here. We don't need to start disrespecting our women. That's not going to make a better America. And to keep having all of them come over here, and every time you hear them mention, everybody needs to be strong together, and they include Muslims in there. It's just sickening to my makes me sick to my very core. How can they just embrace all these people? It's like a polar opposites, and that always has been that way between the two parties. Republicans, some of them are dumb enough to want them over here, but it seems like the Democrats are the polar opposite, and they just love and embrace these Muslims. They're all over the place, and they want them here. I've seen them here in Los Angeles. You've said that on many shows. And moving on to the next subject, these speeches and these inspirational videos that they have, and of course they had that little boop 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 Trump in his own words, and then words of Trump, of your next possible president. You know, not that he doesn't need to be made fun of because he doesn't know what he's doing, but all these speeches, you know, were just trying to paint a picture, a non-existent, allegedly untrue picture, as far as me and my brother are concerned, and anyone that's got a head on their shoulders, of someone that's a saint, someone that's a proverbial Mother Theresa. She's not that kind of person, and to have all this scandal with his email currently, and she's still allowed to do that, that shows you how easily she can get away with stuff. Her name should be Hillary Teflon Clinton, because nothing gets stuck to her. She slides off like Teflon. And then her daughter came up there, and not like Trump's daughter, where she kept saying, "This is so this and so that." She wasn't as blatantly obvious as her, but she was still emphasizing every other syllable. I know that to be true, and this is because that, and this is how she is, and she was trying a little bit too hard, and she wasn't a very good orator. I mean, even her father was a better orator. He had everything in order timeline-wise, and was very animated about it and stuff, and natural, and she wasn't very natural about it. She was just trying to get along with people and try to sound cool. My baby likes this vegetables, or whatever the heck it was, and trying to get along with people like she was trying to become their best friend, and explain what her likes and dislikes were, or something like that. That's not a speech.
It's a horse and pony show.
It's crazy. And then she came on there, just it was really disgusting. Excuse me. And just basically with, like I said before, all these wonderful things, she's been there to help other people. And if you did catch a glimpse of that link that I put on the last video description and the sharing on Google Plus, where I said a message from the Exec there, that she's actually a part of the Bilderberg group, or Bilderberg Society, and that's one of the secret societies that has high-level leaders and bankers and everything, and they're trained up to become these leaders and everything. So everything she's done has been a farce. She's not a genuine person. She doesn't want to help other people. She just wants to help herself. But because the Bilderberg Society has groomed her up to become this next president, you know who that's going to be. It's her. She's categorically and consistently been doing all these nice things throughout her whole life because of being in that society. She was one of the first 2 people listed, including Barack, and the members of the Bilderberg Society. And there's different mentions that they collaborate with the Skull and Bones, another secret society, and then the Masons, Freemasons.
Part of this New World Order.
Part of the New World Order. They want to have everything all one government and have the government control. There's many different conspiracies about it. Rigging the political system, including the faking of the moon landing and a whole bunch of different stuff. But moving on back to the convention, this little phrases were really sickening, the glass shattering and all that kind of craziness, and stronger together. How, like I said, and like you quoted me, how are we stronger together when we're dying, separated, and 2,000 or so of our people in the Twin Towers? We don't need to be stronger together with Muslims. We don't need more of them over here. And that whole thing where they were supposed to put these things in front of their faces, they really messed that up. They didn't pan the camera out to show the entire stadium, number one. And if everyone was supposed to do it, it seemed like only the center part of each stadium section was doing it, not the entire thing, people were too busy talking about it, and that didn't come off good at all.
No, they waited till the end of the thing. They should have done that at the very beginning. Like after Chelsea stopped talking, then do the thing. That would be the preamble for the mother coming out for Bitchery Clinton. They waited until almost ready for the balloons to drop, and people were, at the end of the thing. You don't have their full attention at that time.
But it's a bunch of craziness, and that didn't work out at all. Telling them to turn their little phone flashlights on.
Oh yeah, for Katy Perry, did that work fine? Because it was right at the beginning. They, she's doing her song and whatever, and they had their flashlights going. But you don't wait till the end of something; you lose control.
The whole thing was quite disgusting, and like I said, the fact that they all are just headlong into this supporting Muslims, and that she's such a good person after all these things she's done and is currently doing is utterly ridiculous. This country is in a bad shape, and it's already going in a downward spiral, and that spiral is going to turn from a less, slower, because you have to go around in circles. It's just going to go to a straight downhill, rush, like Goliath roller coaster. It's going to be straight downhill, fast and quick when she gets to be president, because the independents are not treated fairly. If there is a party out there, it should be recognized as well as the other two. But before we get this going on into almost a 45-minute show, I guess we'll get to the end. We'll talk your ears off enough, folks, so take it back to the start of the show.
Well, something's got to give, because these two pitiful messes that we are now given to vote for. Like I said, I think this orange-haired Trump is gonna, he's gonna implode, because you never can tell what's gonna come out of his mouth. And people, if they really look at this guy for what he is, a lot of the stuff isn't, pardon the pun, trumped up on him. A lot of this garbage he spews right from his own mouth. And he said, well, they're lying, that was photoshopped. That's him, he said it. And our grandmother always said, nothing ruin you but your big mouth. And, his is gonna ruin him, because every time he opens it, it just pushes him a little further down on the mainstream. His supporters, he can do nothing wrong. Like he said, I could shoot somebody. I could go out in Central Park and shoot somebody, whatever the hell he said. I know it's something geared to shooting somebody, and I would still not lose any supporters, which is true, because, they're just creature worshiping and following the blind light. Just like with her. You should have seen their faces. They were in such jubilation. Oh, they were so happy when the Bitchery was speaking. And, other people like you and me, and probably billions of other people in this country, are sitting there looking like, yeah, what a load. And, it's just a shame. Like a lot of people are saying that this is one of the greatest elections of our lifetime. Well, they say that for every bloody election. But this one, it could bring out to be very true, in as much as this country is in a lot of trouble. I'm not saying that there's going to be like Armageddon tomorrow or something, but we're in a lot of trouble. We're in financial trouble. We're in emotional trouble. We're in racial trouble. We're in a lot of trouble, and it needs a strong, mature hand to try to at least settle some of it. Insurmountable odds, because you already got all these deadheads that are already there when you enter the front door of the White House. These people are already set and established in Congress, in the Supreme Court, what have you. So we need somebody in there that can really work with the people. Jill Stein is that person. Like I said, she's a very personable person. She's very strong in her convictions. She's no wishy-washy pushover by a long shot, because I heard her say some things about, what was going on with Bernie Sanders. And I said, boy, she's got chutzpah. She's no pushover, but she's a mature, sensible woman with some very, very good ideas. I was doing some reading this morning about her. We'll do some shows on her in future, so stay tuned for that. But she is the only other alternative to these two pickleheads that they're sitting up in front of us to vote for. One, a jackass, and the other, a pompous ass. And, if we vote for either one of them, our asses are cooked. So we want to really keep an eye on this thing and try to get Jill on the ballot. Try to get Jill to chill and help us out with this country, because ain't looking too good right now. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the Phil Taylor Jones Show, and join us again. We'd love to have you along. stay safe, and hey, we're into the weekend, so have a great one. And if nothing pops, we'll see you again possibly next week. Take care. Bye-bye.